Season 9 of Adventures League is almost here, with the new rules going in on the 17th of September. There are some things that have stayed the same, but lots of things that are different now, so let's go over those. First of all, the idea for ACPs is completely out the window. Now, if you complete the adventure, you will just level up. It doesn't matter anymore if you're playing a 2-hour adventure or a 4-hour adventure. If you play it all the way through the end, you're gonna level up at the end of it. What does this mean for bonus objectives? Well, bonus objectives are also out the window basically. Also, if you're playing a hardcover adventure, and the DM does not necessarily specify that you've leveled up, you can just look at the clock. If it's been more than 4 hours, that means that you should be leveling up, even if you had a full shopping episode. This is also a new feature in this season. Some of you could also be wondering, what about slow advancement? What if I don't want to immediately level up after one of my adventures? Well, slow advancement is also out the window, but don't worry, you can instead just choose to level up or not level up after you've played an adventure. Another thing that has been changed this season is how the loot is distributed. This has been changed multiple times already. The first time being that if the whole party found an item, the one person that had the least magic items would just get this item, even if that person was a wizard that didn't really have use for a greatsword. During Season 8, however, at the end of an adventure, everyone would unlock this item in their specific shop, and they would be able to buy these items using their treasure checkpoints that they got at the end of adventure. But for Season 9, those TCPs go out the window. We're not yet sure what happens to your current TCPs, but you're probably gonna get to exchange them for some gold. This means that if everyone wants that amazing greatsword that you guys found, everyone can just keep it if they want it. This makes for a party of very happy elves, wizards, dwarves, right? Well, actually, Tier 1 players, meaning levels 1 through 4, can only have 1 magical item. Tier 2 players can only have 3 magical items, Tier 3 players can only have 6 magical items, and Tier 4 players can only have 10 magical items on them. So, if you're a Tier 1 player and you already have your magical brick, but you found this cool magical ball in your adventure, you're gonna have to choose which one you want to keep. You can't just switch them out in between sessions. One of them's a keeper and one of them's a goner. Season 9 also sees the return of money. This doesn't mean that you can loot corpses yet, but at least you get a monetary reward at the end of each session. This also depends on the tier that you play in. Per tier, for each hour, the DM can decide if they want to reward the party with some gold. If the DM decides not to reward the party with gold, you at least get the minimum, which is shown in my drawing on the right. Or if the DM does decide to reward the party for good roleplay or good searching of corpses, there's a bigger monetary reward for them. And I can hear you asking, okay, what about my downtime? Well, downtime doesn't change too much. Before, it was dependent on the ACP of your adventure. Now it's just dependent on you leveling up. Okay, but what about my renown? Well, you don't have to keep track of your renown anymore. It's now dependent on the tier that you play in. Keep a close eye on this word, seasoned, cause it's going to come back later. The rewards that you get for your renown are also slightly different. Before, if you were rank 1, you would only get a healing potion, but this time you get inspiration and a healing potion at the start of each session. This healing potion, however, will still disappear at the end of the session. Seasoned characters may still choose an item worth 100 gold pieces or less from a table in Chapter 5 of the Player's Handbook. Veteran characters get a vehicle with a non-combatant crew. This means that you can finally get that pirate ship you always dreamed of, even though you don't have 30,000 gold pieces to afford one. Don't worry about it, we got it covered. And lastly, hero characters get either a potion of superior healing or an elixir of health. Remember that you only get one of the things from this list. If you're a hero character, you don't also get inspiration and a vehicle and an item worth 100 gold pieces. Remember how I said that Tier 2 seasoned word would come back quite a few times? Well, here's one of those times. Once you reach Tier 2, you get what is called a renown item. This is an item that you got from your background, but you only get it once you reach level 5. And this item can be a +1 weapon, a +1 shield, a Rod of the Pact Keeper, or one of the War Mage. And this renown item has nothing to do with factions. You just need to be level 5 for it. So, if you want your Outlander living all by himself in the forest to find this magical shield, you just need to adapt it into your backstory, cause why not? Right? So, what does happen to factions? Well, as long as you have the Safe Haven background feature, you can join one. If you have this feature and are seasoned, there it is again, you get a special ring. All faction members can choose to obtain a ring of protection. This also means, for example, the Flaming Fists or other region-specific factions. Harper members can choose between this Ring of Protection and the Ring of Free Action, making difficult terrain feel like a field of flowers to you. You also can't be paralyzed or restrained while wearing it. Order of the Gauntlet members can opt to get a Ring of Fire Resistance. It makes you resistant to fire. Members of the Emerald Enclave can choose to get a Ring of Animal Influence, making you the perfect druid you aspire to be. Lord Alliance members get a Ring of the Ram. It shoots out a ram and damages things. I tried drawing it. That looks hideous. Lastly, Zend members can opt to get a Ring of Evasion. If that fireball is headed straight for you and you fail the deck save, you can choose to succeed 3 times a day. It's like your own little legendary resistance, for dexterity only. But remember, once you become a seasoned adventurer and reach tier 2, you can only have 3 magical items. One of them can be your renown item, the other can be your faction item, and that leaves one other free option. So, what'll happen to my current TCP? And what if my tier 2 character currently has more than 3 magical items? Well, you're gonna have to stay tuned to find out.